Alright, it's that time again. So buckle up. Got some triggering stuff to talk about, honestly. So, lately there's one specific thing that has to do with my self-esteem, and I'm sure plenty of others, is the word useless and worthless. Because, see, we live in a society that's very monetary, that's very consumerism, that's very capitalism, that doesn't really see the value in things like the heart, the mind, the soul, intangible things, things we can't touch or buy. It's always... So, if you're someone struggling with, chronic illness or mental illness that maybe doesn't contribute financially, but contributes in some way, people don't tend to see that because it's all about the dollar signs. It's all about what bills are paid and this and that. And don't get me wrong, like, I understand that bills need to get paid and all that good jazz, like, obviously. And with, recovering from corona and all that, it's just, one of those things. But, disappointed but not surprised. People feel that it's okay to say those things to someone's face. Someone who is facing a struggle that person may not understand. So, basically, I have a lot of issues with the word useless. I don't like to be made to feel like I'm useless, like I don't contribute, like I'm worthless, like nothing I do is actually helping wherever I'm staying, the house function, or helping the people around me. And I know that's a common theme with, again, other people who have physical and mental illnesses or chronic pain, that kind of thing. I have fibromyalgia, I have a spinal injury, I get migraines, I get just basically chronic fatigue, and I also have bipolar disorder and anxiety, that kind of stuff. And no, I'm not a WebMD crazy person who just is self-diagnosed all this crap. Like, literally had tons of procedures and spinal injections and tried 21 different psych meds and all this fun stuff. Anyway, so I actually went to school for pharmacy. This chick, with my green hair and piercings and everything. I went to school for a healthcare profession, believe it or not. And I was going to be a pharmacist. I ended up being a pharmacy technician for a while, but I was going to continue on and become a pharmacist. And that didn't end up happening. But I did work in a pharmacy for a while. And it wasn't something I was necessarily, like, overly passionate about, but it was something, that I could handle at the time, and I've always loved science. I've always been a huge nerd in school, and liked science and liked that kind of thing, so, that worked out. But I am an artist, and that's what keeps me going, and that's what I'm most passionate about, and I really wish I hadn't listened to other people and just stayed in school for graphic design and animation, because I always wanted to be an animator when I was a kid. Like, watching Courage the Cowardly Dog and those kind of shows inspired me to draw all the time, and, I've taught myself how to paint, taught myself how to draw. I like to draw comics. I like to do all kinds of different art and, one of these days I would love to just be able to animate my own stuff. Or just be a part of that whole scene. Whenever I can get my crap together. But anyway, so yeah. I went to school for pharmacy, and I was working at a pharmacy and going to school for pharmacy. My entire life was pharmacy. I spent 99% of my time in scrubs. It was miserable, honestly. But then I ended up moving in with my current, not current, but with my ex. And that was a huge mistake. Because I was working at Family Dollar, living with my nanny, not really doing anything, and she just pushed me to go to school, and so I just picked something and went. And he was my manager at Family Dollar, the original store I worked at before I transferred stores. But anyway, long story short, my mom's age, that whole thing, just a big to-do. But yeah, I moved in with him, and I started working. I had already graduated my first college college program or whatever, and then started working at Walgreens, and then eventually I moved in with him. And the original store I started at, I really liked my boss. I really liked the people I worked with. My coworkers were cool, and it was right down the way from my college, so it worked out really well. I made more money, obviously, than Family Dollar, and it was good, because I was already in my field, and I was already, just plugging away. Then I had to transfer stores, and it just went downhill from there. So I transferred stores at work, and eventually moved in with my ex. And there was like 6 grown people in the house that couldn't do dishes, that couldn't be bothered to do, to make sure their animals weren't, pissing and stuff on the carpet. Or, for example, one of our roommates let her muddy dog jump on my leather couch, that kind of thing. It was just absolute misery, because my ex had a gambling problem, and every single other bedroom in that house it had tenants in it, and it was just a crazy nightmare. And that pushed me, and then he was pushing me to quit smoking, and so I started taking Wellbutrin, and that'll mess with the brain chemistry. And during this time, I hadn't had a bipolar diagnosis yet, and hadn't had a DNA test done, a little buccal swab that you can do in the inside of your cheek and send it to a lab to see what psych meds will work best for you. Hadn't had any of that. Hadn't had a proper diagnosis. I think that's pretty common with bipolar disorders, because you usually go in when you're feeling like shit, and not when you're having a manic swing and feel like Superman. You know what I mean? Anyway, So I got on the Wellbutrin. I tried to quit smoking. My job was really stressful, and school was stressing me out, and then my home life was stressful, and it was just mounting problems. And then I ended up getting my medication switched cold turkey from Wellbutrin to Zoloft, which had a horrible effect on me. So about 4 weeks into the Zoloft, I was taking Visceral, Zoloft, Trazodone for sleeping, and I think I got back on birth control because of some cysts. So it was just a wacky mix of crap going on. I hadn't been on meds for, years. Like, I hadn't even been on birth control for years, because, this dude was the same age as my mom, and he, you know what I mean? So I didn't have a reason to fill my body with unnecessary hormones, if you know what I mean. Anyway, so yeah, all this at once: stop smoking, getting on hormones, changing medications, trying medications, that kind of thing. Just everything at once. And transferring stores, the boss that I had at the new store, okay, let me just put this into perspective. I was working on the 16th Street Mall in Denver, all right? So if anyone's ever been there, they know how chaotic it can be. Like, I mean, I've had homeless people. I had homeless people coming in there drinking mouthwash type of crap. Very sad. Very, very sad. Anyway, so yeah, that happened and everything, and my boss was just, I mean, literally, I had to tell my higher up boss that she was harassing me on my personal cell phone and this and that, and she asked me why it was so awkward between us, and I literally just told her she was a bitch. And it's like, what are you gonna do? No one heard me say it, so I mean, what are you gonna do? Write me up? Because they had me working every store in that district and not paying me extra and not paying for my mileage and not paying for my gas. So I was what's called a pod tech, so I would fill in wherever somebody decided not to go to work. And, or where there was inventory or where there was resets or where they were opening a brand new store or whatever the hell. It was misery. Anyway, so yeah, I worked every store in the district when I transferred downtown because they said they didn't have enough pharmacy hours. They would literally put me in cosmetics when I was a pharmacy technician. Like, really? That's not what I went to school for, dude. It was just miserable. Just miserable. I think this bitch was just trying to get rid of me from the word go. But, you know, then again, I could just be insecure. I don't know. Kind of seems that way. But anyway. So, yeah, that happened. And, you know, about 4 weeks into the Zoloft, I really genuinely lost my shit. And, I just, one night, my ex and I were fighting, and he was laying in the bed, in the room, and had his arm over his eyes, and he just was totally ignoring whatever I had to say, so I told him, I was like, I'm gonna go take all my pills. He didn't believe me. He didn't follow me into the living room, and actually, he told my mom that it was a lie, that I didn't do it. Cute, right? Anyway, yeah, so I went into the living room and I sat down and I opened I took out all my medicine and I just started taking handfuls of the shit. And, yeah, over the next couple of months after that, I ended up in a mental hospital twice and then, ended up on medical leave. And fun little tidbit here, when I'm on medical leave, basically my store manager forced me to go on medical leave. He said, there's something wrong with you. You really need to get checked out. We're worried about you. No, they were trying to get rid of me from the word go. I was the outsider. I was the new person at that store. And that pharmacist and everybody else, I just, you know. Anyway, so yeah, forced me to go on medical leave. And then I didn't get a call. I didn't get a letter. I didn't get an email. Nothing. Zip, nada, zilch. I tried to log in one day to the employee portal, and surprise, surprise, I couldn't get in. So I called corporate, talked to a wonderful lady, and she said, it looks like your contract of employment has been terminated. Excuse me? What? Don't even tell me. Don't even... Apparently they felt like my doctor didn't put in some paperwork quick enough, but literally that's why I was trying to log on. But yeah, so fuck them. Anyway, yeah. So I got fired on medical leave, and then my psychiatrist at the time recommended that I try to get temporary disability, and you know, on top of that, I had an MRI of my spine, you know, like months previous to this, and they said I was a candidate for immediate surgery, but I didn't want to have surgery because I was like, I was 21 when they told me this, and then I had barely turned 22, and I was like, I don't want to have back surgery at this age because it's just going to end up badly, you know? I mean, a lot of back surgeries tend to need repairs again and again and again. I literally had a physical therapist and he had 7 back surgeries. 7. So that tells you something. But yeah, anyway. And again, I quit smoking for like 3 years. You know, backtracking to taking the Wellbutrin to quit smoking because my ex was a controlling fuck and wanted me to. Anyway, no, I did that for me. I wouldn't have. I'm not the type of bitch to change like that for somebody. I did that for me because I knew it was bad for me. But fast forward a couple years and I picked up smoking again, and so now I've got this. But back on the Wellbutrin because it worked. I quit for almost 3 years. So yeah, it's a son of a bitch addiction. You know, you think you're good, and then you're having a couple drinks with your friends, and you're like, oh, I'll just smoke 1 cigarette. No, it's not how it works. It's not how it works. The heck is going on here? Ew, that's gonna bug me. Okay. Yeah. I want my eyebrows microbladed so bad. I can't handle this. Like, when I have no makeup on, it's just, I guess it's one thing because they're dark like my hair and everything, but they're not it, It's not it, Chief. It's not the look. They're not, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, eyebrows, whatever. Doesn't matter. No, so yeah, got terminated on medical leave. Talked to my psychiatrist, this, that, and the other, and of course I get denied for Social Security, all this crap, and it's 5 years later and still denied. But yeah, they recommended immediate back surgery, and because I've had a ruptured disc, and then 2 others that are at risk. They're kind of semi-torn, not fully ruptured. I have arthritis in my spine, sciatic, like bilateral sciatica, so the sciatic pain goes down each leg, not just one side. It used to just be the right side. So over time, with the arthritis, where the disc is missing and all that jazz, it just pinches and this and that, and it's so fun trying to get a pain doctor to understand. It's been a journey. Doctors and specialists and procedures, and oh my goodness, I have so much material for so many videos. But I guess the moral of this story is like, yeah, I've felt pretty useless and pretty helpless, pretty worthless for a while, and it's taken me, a lot of years to recognize the small victories, even if it's just sweeping some days, because I can't, I can't clean the house like I used to. I can't work a normal job. I can't do a lot of the things I used to be able to do, and that's been really hard to accept, because a lot of people look at me and resent me, thinking, oh, she looks fine to me, so she's just trying to use other people for a free place to stay and this and that. And it's just like, I question my own sanity sometimes. Like, I question whether everything's legitimate, even though I have diagnoses for fibromyalgia and everything else. I question whether, because my pain doctor's assistant, literally my last appointment, she tried to make, she just made me feel like, oh, it's all in your head. Keep going to therapy, blah, blah. Like, I told her there's things that are changing about my nerve pain and things like that. And she's like, oh, well, it's not a degenerative condition, so just keep seeing your therapist. Like, basically, bitch, you're crazy. That's not... People wonder why I'm mad all the time. It's cute. How about that? Anyway, so yeah. And I realize that's backwards, but it says because fuck you, that's why. It goes with my earrings, right? Anyway. I don't know. It isn't fair for anyone to take on the position to where they feel like they're allowed to assess value on another person based on monetary gain, monetary output, based on, everything they were told as a kid or whatever, societal standards, that kind of thing. Like, if you don't live the kind of life where it's literally an accomplishment to be able to wash your hair some days, like, I envy you, honestly. I really do. I wish it was still that way for me, Sometimes I can't wash my hair. Sometimes I can't bend down to shave my legs. I can't, it drives me crazy because those are things that I do for me, obviously, but sometimes you have to suffer, I guess. Yeah. It's a real struggle. It really is a real struggle with the useless, worthless. Because you're not useless or worthless just because you're sick or you're messed up or you have some mental shit going on, If you put groceries in the fridge, if you feed an animal, if you sweep a floor, if you wipe a counter, if you brush your teeth, if you take a shower, if you make somebody laugh, make someone smile, if you, get the mail out of the mailbox, throw away trash, wash a dish, it doesn't matter how small it seems, it's a big deal, it is things that matter, they are things that matter because, when you lose so much to chronic illness and chronic pain and chronic fatigue and mental illness and whatever, spending time in the hospital, this, that, and the other, when you lose so many things, the small things start to stack up and feel important because the big things aren't there anymore, if that makes sense. It's like grieving the loss of the person you used to be. It's like mourning the loss of a dead person, honestly. That's what I would liken it to. There's a real difference between my former self and the me now. Like before and after my car crash, before and after my first stint in a mental ward. Like, there's very clear before and afters in my life. And it's been a journey. And I wanted to talk about that because I know I'm not the only one that's experienced this. I know I'm not. Unfortunately, as disgusting as that is, nobody has the right, your family, it doesn't matter who it is, nobody has the right to tell you you're useless just because you're not contributing the way they want you to. If you can't, you can't. No is necessary, no is a complete sentence, and no is protecting your own peace sometimes. Unfortunately, a lot of, chronically ill people like myself are in situations where they don't have a lot of say over their environment or their living situation because it becomes a real necessity rather than a want. It's just unfair. It's really unfair. Like, if your family is doing that to you, if your friends are doing that to you, just take a break. Honestly, take a break. It's a hard balancing act, but genuinely what I do sometimes is I'll write a list of everything I did in a day. Or I write lists out like floors, counters, window, whatever, just little pieces. I don't write clean the house on a to-do list anymore, if that makes sense. I'll write, clean a toilet, sweep, vacuum, dust, and then the more I check off, the better I feel. So I know I'm not fucking useless, alright? I know I'm not. So anybody who's told me that, check yourself. Just saying, check yourself. Because that's just disgusting. Don't say that to people, especially people on the edge. Yeah, no, but I see you guys. I see everybody. I mean, obviously I don't have a lot of subscribers, but I do have pages where I have, a chunk of people on there, and I see all of you. You're important. You're not useless. You're not worthless. You are you, and you give what you have to give, and that is enough. And anyone who says it isn't enough, you'll never be enough for the wrong people. Alright? But I love you guys, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.